What's up, party people? 𝘾𝙝𝙞𝙡 here. In today's video, I want to be talking about how to properly take breaks. So, here's the thing. You need to take breaks, but probably not as many as you think. At the same time, you might want to take more, even if you don't need to take as many as you think. Does that make sense? It's like you can actually go quite a long time without a break. You can work on whatever you're working at, and you can do it for quite a while without a break. And I also know that hyperfocus tends to perform better without breaks. However, I do not recommend not taking breaks, and I do not recommend trying to get stuck into hyperfocus, because this is basically how you become a zombie. And then when you walk away from your computer, it's like, what is going on? Like, you just feel like a zombie. You can't focus. You can't seem to engage with your body and with reality. Like, you're not mindful anymore. And this, you can't really think straight when you're like this. You're sort of like this weird, flat version of yourself that thinks strange things, because you're like out of it. You're like zapped, and you're like wired at the same time. So, not the best. It's something you can do if you need to. This is probably better than doing nothing. Okay? So, if you need to just unlock zombie mode and like hit it hard, then by all means go ahead and do that. I want to talk about leisure and just how important leisure is for your brain. And let's define this real quick, because most people think of leisure, they're like, oh, awesome, I get to lay around and like, thanks, 𝘾𝙝𝙞𝙡, you're telling me I get to watch my phone more and I get to, kick back, relax. And it's like, nope, that's not leisure. That's not leisure. That's just unhealthy. What leisure is rest that feeds your mind. So that's the way you can think of leisure. Is anything that actually supports your cognitive function, while at the same time being technically a restful activity. And that is what happens if you never have any leisure. Your head becomes your leg. This page is getting like more and more glitchy every time I use it. Leisure would be something like reading a book or spending time with your family. Leisure could also look like going for a walk. And I'll give you an example of the leisure that I just had. I went and took my dog for a walk, and along the way, there's this place that I take her where they have like these really cool rocks. I kind of wanted her to just explore and chill, and I didn't really want to walk her around, and it was a big area, so took her off the leash, let her walk around. There are all these cool rocks on the ground, and so I was sitting on the ground, and I just started to like mess around and stack the rocks. So, and they had some cool ones too. Like, they were like almost looked like shattered into slices. Guys, the mothership came back and got me. But I was stacking these rocks, and I was enjoying myself, and I was trying to stack them in weird patterns like this. And it wasn't really like fun, but it was just kind of like a useless action that I just felt like doing. I allowed myself to, because I understand that these sort of weird primal functions that you want to do, like having the urge to just like pick up a stick and start whacking stuff with it, like, this is very healthy. Your brain is basically made to do these things, to have these sort of outlets. And that's the way I would put it, is if it's anything that's like primal and sort of useless. We are humans, and we were kind of made to just human about. And that means like not actually really doing anything sometimes, or just taking on like completely useless action. And that's fine. Like that's fine. And the reason it's fine is because it actually boosts your productivity over time. And the reason why, as long as you're not doing too much of that. If you're doing too much, then it's like you're just wasting time. But a little bit is fine because your brain needs time to put things together. It needs time for the chemical reactions to steep, and it needs time to process things from throughout the day. So some of your best ideas are going to happen when you're basically just doing nothing but like lounging about, or like doing useless activities that are just like resting your mind. And when you have ADHD, you need more stimulation, so there's totally fine for if your mental rest is like kind of doing some sort of useless thing. That as long as it's not overstimulating you. A lot of people with ADHD think that they just need more stimulation, so they'll do things that for their rest that are not healthy. And they wind up getting more stimulated, and they're just like, well, this is just how I am. Like, I'm just doing what my brain allows me. And it's like, no, you can have a low level stimulation and not be bored. Things like, solving a Rubik's Cube, if you're into that. Like, if you actually, even if you don't know how to do it, like solving a Rubik's Cube, going on a walk and like hitting stuff with a stick, or stacking rocks, or a great one that you can do while you're in the middle of a Pomodoro, like on your breaks, is just start doodling like weird geometric patterns. Like literally no rhyme or reason to it, and just kind of do whatever your brain wants you to draw. And, you could try and get creative and maybe, turn it into, like, the whole point is to stimulate your brain in a sort of useless but healthy way, and to just kind of go along with the flow of whatever your brain feels like doing, even if it's kind of like, that's weird, Your brain just kind of needs this every now and again. And you can think of your brain kind of like a dog. It's like it needs exercise, and it needs rest, and it needs to just kind of do useless dog things sometimes, Or like, why do dogs love to drink the puddle water? I don't know, but they really do. It's like their version of a cigarette. Why do dogs like to chase a ball? I don't know. They just do that. And I mean, there's reasons, but they just chase the ball. They just like the stick, So just engaging with things like that, where it's like, why do humans do that? And why do humans have a fascination? Or like, why do I naturally just kind of do this when I'm chilling? Maybe for you, it's like beatboxing, or like any of these weird things, just go with it, pace around, think while you're pacing. That's fine. These things are healthy. These things are stimulating. And what they do is they're allowing you to process and have stimulation at the same time. And they're basically like nourishing your inner child. And when your inner child is happy, your whole world is happy. Like everything is just going well. Take care of the little alien. Another thing is, because of how this works, like most of your greatest insights will come from you being at leisure. All of those light bulb ideas, those aha moments where it's like, oh, I know exactly what to do now when I didn't. And I was like tweaking and freaking out about it earlier. It's like, ideas just come naturally. Intuition is stronger when you're not trying. And that's another tip for productivity overall, is you're not looking to try harder. You're trying to find flow, which is, I'm doing something and you're trying to get it to the point where your brain is sort of doing it automatically, but at the same time you're present, and at the same time it's enough of a challenge and enough of like an interesting creative endeavor where you have that like dopamine pulse, like the pulse of, yeah, this is cool, yeah, this is awesome, yeah, this is great, this is good, let's keep going. The way that you can engage with this is by making it a little bit more difficult, or making it like sporadic and new and interesting. Just kind of shake up old habits, you know. Be experimental. Have fun with stuff, right? So for me, this would be like, if I'm editing a video, maybe I'd do something, you know, future Damien, you're going to do something on screen right now that you've never done while editing. I don't know what future Damien did. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. You can doodle on Pomodoro breaks. You should be having more leisure activity. My honest advice for how long you should be working every day is, if you're trying to go further, 6 to 8 hours. If you can get away with it, 4 hours. That's it. But mind you, these 4 hours should be deep work specifically, because deep work is 10 times more productive than shallow work. And the difference is that deep work is completely focused. It's, you know, you've set up your productivity environment. You've got the coffee ready, and you've already done all the menial things, and you're just focused on the one task, the one thing you're going to be doing, or the two things you're going to be doing, or whatever it is. But you have a narrow focus, and it's not really side questy or exploratory. I mean, it can be if you're trying to get into flow, you know. Leisure is very valuable. It needs to be a part of your routine. You need time to just like do nothing. If you are still like wondering what leisure is, basically just think, like, a question you can ask yourself is, if I think back to when I was a kid, like, what would I be doing right now? Because kids are really leisurely. They'll like just look at bugs and just kind of climb trees and stuff. Like, they just do like completely weird, useless things. So do those things. I know as a kid, I used to like just stare at things really, really closely for a long time. And I just like noticed the little details in, say, like a piece of wood. And I would literally just like look at it and then like move it around and just be like looking at it and like, whoa, that's cool. So, you know, you can do that too. Treat yourself with compassion. Take some leisure, time for yourself, and understand that this is going to make you far more productive, because those insights, they're typically the things that actually move the needle the most, like, honestly. So you need to optimize for having them. And the way you do that is by just chilling out. If you're not doing any work, don't excuse yourself, okay? So if you're not at least doing 4 hours of deep work a day, you can be doing more. And if you need to be doing more, you can go up to 8, okay? I was going to go into a whole thing about breaks, but we're actually going to do breaks in another video. So Pomodoro breaks specifically. But this is leisure. Make sure you have a few hours of leisure every day. Feed your mind. Don't just blast it, doom scroll, and consume content. Let your mind process things while doing useless, like not really thinking about it things. That's kind of the gist, TLDR. All right, thank you guys so much. You want mentorship? It's $50. First session's free. If you want body doubling, $25. Again, first session's free. So just let me know in the comments. Let me know what weird thing, what leisurely thing you do in the comments. That's all, guys. Juice up the algorithm for me. Peace.